Welcome to the Path Podcast, where we will travel the lives of some bold women, from dreams to detours to destiny. She did not choose this path chose her. This is the Path Podcast. Welcome back, Path listeners, to another episode of the Path Podcast. Today, I'm going to read an excerpt first to tell you what this show will be about. It reads, "It is difficult to find joy in everyday life when your body is aching and possibly diseased, when you thought you would grow old gracefully, but your body has other plans, or when those hurting people you help turn around and hurt you. But take heart, there is joy in it all." Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is an excerpt from my guest's book, Finding Joy in Everyday Life. And my guest today is the one and only, the real Latressa Crawford. Latressa is a native of the Carolinas and a certified executive life coach. She's an author, educator, and public speaker. Latressa is founder and CEO of Latressa Crawford Enterprises. Latressa's book, Finding Joy in Everyday Life, won the 5-star Reader's Favorite Award, thus extending it into a yearly conference entitled the same, Finding Joy in Everyday Life, the conference. Some of Latressa's accomplishments include literary contributions and awards, which include a feature in Voyage Atlanta, Strut Award recipient, co-author of Oh, How We Love Our Sons, and Strut, which is another collection of words about the woman's walk. Some of Latressa's guest appearances include Teachers of Atlanta Conference as an educator, the Atlanta University Center Friends Council as a guest author, and as well as a guest speaker on several radio shows, including my guest from episode 3, Trinette L. Collier's show, Woman on Fire, the TV show and podcast. Everyone, help me welcome my guest and my soror, the real Latressa Crawford. Welcome, my sister. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I am well. I am well and excited.
I am the one excited because ever since I've seen you and how you moved, and I've seen you in different events that we've attended together, you've always been that person that was smiling, bringing joy and bringing happiness to everyone. So it is my pleasure to have you here with me and the Path listeners. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Latressa, as you've heard in her bio, she's written books and she's done speaking engagements. Attention has been brought to her in the educational field, but today we're going to talk a little bit about her and how all of that came to be. So first, I want to ask you this, Latressa. Tell me about the younger Latressa, the one who thought she had it all figured out. What were like your hopes and dreams for yourself?
Uh, Nothing like they are now.
Of course.
They are nothing like they are now. And I take that back. There was somewhat similar in that I always enjoyed helping other people. So in some capacity, it was still going to be helping other people. In the educational field, yes. When in my early years, I wanted to be a teacher when I was much younger. And of course, I did turn out to be. I became a teacher. In high school, I put down, when you have your senior memoir book, I
Yes.
put down, I want to be a teacher, an engineer, and a chef. I want to
Wow.
be all of that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So because I do enjoy cooking, I am a chef in my mind. You can't tell me I'm not when I'm in my kitchen. You
Yes.
understand me? I
Yes.
put on this whole production
Yes.
when I'm in my kitchen. I still enjoy cooking. I love fixing all types of different recipes from soul food
Hmm.
to gourmet. So to a certain extent, I am a chef.
Yes, you are.
Um, Engineering, I did start off when I went to Morris Brown College. I
Mhm.
was going to do a dual degree with engineering
Okay.
and education. And
Hmm.
then they told me how many more years I would have to stay in school, and I was like, yeah,
You let the engineering go for right
I
now.
let the engineering go. I let the engineering go because my heart once again was with helping others, and I'm just a teacher by nature. I
Of
am a
course.
fourth generation teacher, actually fifth generation
Oh,
teacher.
really?
So
Yes.
it's my mother was a teacher, my grandmother was a teacher, my great grandmother's a teacher, and it's me, my mother, my grandmother, my great grandmother. So four
Wow, that
generations
is
teaching.
wonderful. So a family full of educators, indeed.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
just from your bio again, with all the things that you've done, like community service. So in some capacity, it is still helping people and teaching and throughout the things I read about what you and you learned from your mother with some of the community service and different things like that. So it's just in your nature to be a servant to people and
yes.
teaching and educating. So once we get into a lot more about her, everyone, that's why you'll understand you were destined for this route, look like. For do you miss the fact that you never did engineering?
No, because I think the thing with engineering, my mother always said I did engineering because my uncle wanted me to do engineering because he had actually, I have some very brilliant people in my family. My uncle actually had a dual degree in biology and engineering.
Wonderful.
And so he wanted me to do engineering. And
Hmm.
so he pushed that. She said he pushed it on me. But I think it was the thing of me working with my hands
Yes.
and I like doing those things. And even when I did get in high school, I would do, and even younger, I like doing chemistry and mixing things and
Yes.
taking things apart.
Mhm.
And I would take, as a matter of fact, I took the fan completely apart.
You're
We had a
kidding.
fan. I took the fan completely apart. Now this is 20 plus, what, 30 years ago?
Uh-huh.
I took it completely apart. Do you know that fan just quit working 3 years ago? two
You
years ago. So I would just fix different little things, and I still do the same thing now. I think that's
Yes.
probably why I like crafting as well. So to a certain extent, I'm a little mini engineer.
Yes, I was going to say that, but I didn't want to get into it right now. So everyone, you will hear how she is still using those hands in a different type of way. But right now, let me ask you this. When I read about the community service that I mentioned earlier, I see that you picked that up from watching your mother. So you all were heavily into doing a lot of community service when you were younger?
Yes, yes. Um, from we lived in that, and that's why I claim the Carolinas as my home.
Yes.
South Carolina and North Carolina. Even in South Carolina, and particularly when we moved to North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, my mother became very heavily involved in community service there and
Hmm.
doing, particularly at a church we were members of St. Paul
Hmm.
Baptist Church, and just feeding the people there, ministering to people. And so that's where it just began, I think,
Yes.
really began. And I enjoyed work with one. I didn't have a choice.
Hmm. Of course not.
So, and it was for more than one reason. One,
Yes.
because my mother was a divorcee. We moved to an area
Hmm.
where didn't really I had family. It was my father's people, but they were on the other side of town,
Hmm.
and so it made it difficult to get to the other side of town during that time because we didn't have a car. So taking a bus all the way to the other side of town, coming back to that side, to this side. So babysitting,
Yes.
it wasn't that easy. So that was one of the trials in that.
Of
So,
course.
and then two, I just enjoyed it because also the persons who also volunteered who made their children come too.
So was y'all were hanging out together?
Right. We all hung out together, and I formed that bond with them
Yeah.
that we still I still have.
Do you feel like it shaped your life in some ways?
It opened my eyes to those who were in need.
Yes.
It also opened my eyes to leadership. It
Mm-hmm.
opened my eyes to organization,
Mm-hmm.
and it opened my eyes to giving back and how it feels to
Yeah.
give back.
It has to be the most rewarding thing ever for anyone. And you have to have a heart for people in order to do that. When did you move to Atlanta, Georgia?
Now, I moved to Atlanta when I went to Morris Brown College.
Okay.
So that was the first time I moved to Atlanta. And then I moved back to South
And then you
Carolina.
moved back.
And then I moved back to Atlanta.
You
And
are a
then
proud HBCU, Morris
a
Brown
proud
graduate.
HBCU who has recently gained
Got there.
candidacy for accreditation. Yes.
And when I tell you, everyone, she is a proud graduate. What made you leave to come back to Atlanta?
Uh, eh, Truth be told, heartbreak.
Oh, okay. I get that. I get that. So the heartbreak
Heartbreak,
in
right?
South Carolina?
Heartbreak.
Yes.
Heartbreak in South Carolina. And so I ran here. I remember one of my coworkers, he said to me, he said, "What? You came?" And I came here, no family, no friends,
Uh-huh.
during that time because I didn't, everyone that I knew here, that I went to school with, they were gone back home, and I hadn't had any connection with them because there wasn't any Facebook during that time to connect with,
Yes.
or they were they were here and I had lost any contact with them. So I had no family, no friends. And when I moved here, praise God that he did with some of my coworkers at the school where I was working with
Mhm.
my gave me a support system. And so one of the guys said, "So what you just candidly, why did you come here to Atlanta? No family, no friends. You either running from something or running to something." And he was right. I was running from something.
You were running from
I
something.
was running from something, running from heartbreak, trying to get away.
And
So
let me tell you, everyone, I did not know that when I asked that question. So, of course, a question is going to come from that question, the real Latressa. So, I'm pretty sure that was a very challenging time. Any who doesn't know heartbreak, unfortunately. And if you have never, anyone out there never experienced that, I'm happy for you. I promise you. But like we've
consider
heard
that
some
a
of the
blessing.
yes, and but like we've heard some of the pastors say, just keep on living. How did you mind me asking then, how did you come out of that? Did moving to Atlanta help?
I learned that you can't run from it.
Of course.
You have to heal from it.
Hmm.
And so yeah,
Okay, that's
you can't run
understandable.
from it.
You
You
cannot
have
run
to
from
heal.
it.
You
So
can't run
then
from it. You have to heal from it.
how did you try to, like you said, you can't run away from it. What did you do, to try to come through dealing with situations like that and, heartbreak and pain and those feelings?
Um, I tried to stay connected with by me being spiritual, and
Hmm.
I prayed.
Hmm.
I connected myself with persons who are of the same faith,
Hmm.
and look, it's stronger than me in the faith.
We all need that. Exactly.
Strong,
Yeah.
who was stronger than me during
Exactly.
that time in the faith, because I needed that. I
Yes.
needed that to draw their strength like that during that time. So I did that as well.
Mhm.
And I began to get involved and try to find a church and get involved
Wonderful.
in a church. And then being here with no family, I was busy with and a single parent with a
Yeah.
very, very active son. It kept me busy.
Yes.
It really kept me busy. And then, like I said, I had a good support
Great support
system that
system.
came from my persons from my job. So
Wonderful.
they were supportive, and then that helped me with those things like that to move forward and move past.
Exactly. And you know what? It's crazy because even with me being here in Atlanta, my friends became my family here as well. I've gained great friends that truly are, I can say, like a sister and a brother. And
Yes.
then I have coworkers that are truly like a sister. It's wonderful, and everybody doesn't get that. So it's wonderful that you did find that support system. So, and it's interesting how all of that leads into now what I want to talk about. Um, Latressa, the author. When did you decide to add author to your list of accomplishments?
Ooh, can you believe it? When I had heartbreak again, deeper than the first one,
You
it
had
was
a
the deep. I didn't even think it could get any deeper cut than the first time. And it got a deeper cut, which was the heartbreak,
yes,
deep heart breakup. And then it was the finances, and then it was things on the job, and then
yes,
all of those areas
yes.
began to come
Hmm.
boom, 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 and pile on me. And then I was to a point where I was feeling broken.
Hmm. Oh wow.
And so I was in writing this book, I was broken and not feeling any joy at all.
Wow.
I
Really?
wrote this book in the midst of pain. I wrote this book in the midst of hurt. I wrote this book in the midst of crying
Wow. You're
when I
kidding.
wrote this book.
Wow.
So I wrote this book. This book came out of pain. And then as I began to write the book, as I pressed my way through in writing and crying through this book, I began to feel a release.
Wow. So it was like therapy almost.
It was like therapy almost. It
And so
was
let me
like,
ask you this here, because what people need to know too, you are a writer. So that's how you express, because some people may wonder, okay, you're writing your book and you're in this, you're feeling this way still. I know some people, they say they journal, and I
mhm,
wrote my feelings down too, but I'm more of a verbal. I journal by verbally speaking it out. I have to get mine
yeah,
out that way, but I
yeah.
wrote things down as well. But for some people who are true journal, you journal and write things down. That makes sense to me that it was your therapy as you were dealing with it. But did you know it to be at that moment, or you were just writing, you feel like?
I was writing because I had that unction that that's what I needed to do. Because the
Wow.
thing about it is, even though I am a writer, I do poetry.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
lot of what I do.
Okay.
And I may do other writing, but I am very private. So
Yes.
that's why this is a little contradictory, because I'm very private. Yes, I am a very private person. So to put this out and to put this on paper and to put what I actually feel like, all of
Yes.
this pain, this hurt, and exactly how I'm feeling, the way that I felt,
Yes.
and the things that happened, the way that they happened,
Hmm.
it was a challenge. It
Exactly.
was a challenge.
But I'm glad you did mention those experiences, because it leads into why you wrote the book. Now we need to give them the title of her book. Um, and so it leads into that. So I'm thankful that you mentioned it to the audience, so they'll understand if they come to you for, purchase your book, that it came from a feeling that, may some people may be experiencing. And
Right.
as you will learn to, and I'll go ahead and just say, she is a certified life coach. And then some people
Yes.
will understand, if they want to go to your website to book you, they're booking someone who truly understands being in a place of of I won't say you were broken, because you didn't use those words, but going through
Yes, I
things in
did.
there. Okay, you did. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I
I
don't
did.
like to
I
put
did. I
words.
used the words. I felt broken, and then I know that's how. And I did this, and I wrote this book because I wanted other people, because I felt as though I was the only one who was feeling these things or who was
Yes.
going through these situations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted other people to know that you are not alone.
Amen. Yes.
You're not alone with this. You're
Yes.
not the only one who may feel this way. You're not the only one who's going through these situations.
Yes.
And that there is joy in what you're going. I know it's hard to find, but there is joy in what you're going through.
Tell us the name of this very inspiring book.
The name of the book is Finding Joy in Everyday Life.
Did you have that title already by the time when you were writing? Did you have that?
No.
Now, we're going to talk about, we're just going to pull about two chapters from her book and talk about, because we want you to get the book. We'll tell you at the end of the show how you can get the book. But let me ask you this. After you finished writing the book, healed from a lot of what you had already written about and gone through, did it shock you still what you wanted your title to be?
It was kind of like a, okay,
It makes sense.
yeah, I see that.
Exactly. Again, I'll tell people I don't understand why divorce felt like it was good, why breakup relationships are good, why we lose someone in our lives, but they truly all work together for good. God will use it to help the masses. And obviously that is what he's doing through you, through some of your brokenness, and you helping others. Now, I want to go into when I got the book, everyone, and I started reading it. I'm a sucker for self-help books and books that's talking about helping others. So I told her when I got her book, I was like, I love your book. So the very first chapter, she has a title called, what is it, Latressa?
Wink, wink.
Wink. And you said that it was the favorite of several people, even men and women. It's not just a book for women, everyone.
This is their favorite. Yes, they like, oh, I like this one. They like that one.
I like reading that. I wanted to read that first part to give people the main paragraph. Just the first part.
Okay. All right. So I got out the shower in all my glory, looked in the mirror, and winked at myself. I had been feeling down about getting older, I guess you would say. Well, no, let me digress. I was feeling down in the dumps about not growing old gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
I had gained weight. My hair around the front edges had begun to turn gray, so much so that Miss Clairol couldn't keep up. My once smooth and even skin tone now seemed blotchy. My creamy, smooth thighs and buttocks now looked like a road map. I mean, I didn't have all these transformations until much later after I had my son. Not to mention that those areas that were perky at one point were now heading south, and flatlands were now rolling hills. This is not how I pictured myself at this stage in my life.
Okay, everyone. That part I wanted to pull out because I know I felt a lot of what you said here. Tell me now, because I read down in, I'm not going to read all of it. You came to a place where you said, God don't make no junk. So
Exactly.
how did you get to that point when you wrote, for example, how you felt? How did you get to the point to then turn it around and to turn it into something positive, to find the joy again about yourself and write what you know to be true, even though we can sit here and say, I know God don't make no junk, but you weren't feeling that when you first wrote that first part. But how do you begin to feel that and believe that after being broken and feeling that pain?
Affirmations is one thing that you can do. And that's what that had to become for me.
Yeah.
And just looking in that mirror,
Yes.
smiling at myself and saying it with conviction.
Yes.
God don't make no junk. Now, I couldn't say it. God don't make no junk. And even and let me back up. I've been at a time where I've had to say it, low.
Yes.
But then the next time I say it, I have to say it the second time with a little more force.
Yes.
Okay. Third time I got to say it with a little more power.
Yes.
Fourth time, I come on with it. So it may take you 5 times to say it with that force and that conviction, with that power, but you got to say it until you say it with that force and you believe it, and it
Exactly.
saturates your spirit like that. And so that just happened to be one of the times where it didn't take too many times that time, because I said, doggone it, I look good.
Love it.
It didn't take too many that time, but it was an affirmation. I looked in the mirror, I smiled at myself, and that's what I said aloud, that affirmation. And winked at myself. Hey, exactly.
Affirmations help. And
Yes,
sometimes some people may wonder, why do I need someone to help tell me that? Sometimes we do need that. Someone to say, no, say it 3 times if you have to. It's okay. Say it 4 times. And that person's
yes,
like, and you sitting here like, you're right. It's already in you. It's in you.
right.
And helping them to come to that point to believe it themselves and giving them the tools to do it
That's what it's
themselves.
about.
And
That's
yes,
it. Giving you the tools for you to see that you already have this, for you
exactly.
to understand this is in you. This is
Exactly.
in you. And you need to believe that too, and to get you to understand that it is.
Exactly. It made me do it after I read it that night. I'm like, okay, let me just go wink at myself, even though I'm feeling okay about me today, where I am. But sometimes you still have to look in that mirror because we pick ourselves apart as women, I'll say. And I do
Yes,
believe men can
yes.
do it somewhat themselves, but not maybe to the extent as women.
And that's what some of the men who have commented in regards to that, they were saying that they have gained weight. They were not at the size that they were.
Yes.
They didn't have the muscles that they used to have
Yes.
and everything. They now had that pot belly. They were now, their hairline was going
That
back.
you're right.
And he said that that is the way that they were feeling as well. So that's why it's not just for women,
Yes.
but it's also for men. I think the men just hold it in more
Yes.
than what women make. And of course, men hold in
Yes.
more,
They're more
period.
exactly. They do. They do. And women, we kind of tend to, again, we just beat ourselves up so much, and we have no reason for doing that. And it's like,
Exactly.
why we give so much power to everybody else, and then and just remove the power we already have within ourselves from us. And it's like, no, God gave us whatever it is that He gave us. I'm not talking about the physical, so stop looking at yourself as less than, or you're not as prettier
Right.
than this person.
Comparing yourself
Comparison.
too
Yeah,
and stuff
stop doing that.
from others and your other persons and your
And your
past self.
exactly. I agree. I
Past
agree
self.
so much with that. That's why everyone, I promise you, she has so many more great chapters in here besides Wink Wink. But I want to go into another one. And I think you told me in the past that this is one is your favorite. Tell me a little bit about the name of it, and the one that is your favorite in your book, Finding Joy in Everyday Life.
Oh, yes. My favorite is okay. And I read
Mhm.
just that beginning part, that first paragraph, and it says there's a meme that shows a woman with okay written on her
Mhm.
dress. However, on the left of her are the letters BR, and on the right of her are the letters KEN. So the bigger picture says broken.
Mhm.
How many times has someone asked us how we're doing only to respond, okay? How many times have we asked someone else how they are doing only to hear the response, okay? This is deceit on both parts. Deceit on the part of the person saying that they are fine when they are not, and feeling ashamed or as if no one cares to truly hear the truth. And deceit on the part of the one who is asking, in that we don't really want to know how they are doing, or we are too consumed with
Mhm.
self, life, etc., to take care a careful listen to the tone of voice, notice the facial expression, or
Mhm.
notice the watering of the eyes.
Oh, see, I wanted you to read that because I have all of that highlighted. Why is this your favorite and everything about it? What's your feelings of this one?
Because so many times, and this is, as you were saying, I had that smile
Yes.
on my face
Yes.
people ask me how I was doing for so long,
Yes.
because this book wasn't just about a one-time thing that took place
Mm-hmm.
or just a one period. It was things that began over a period of time
Yes,
of things that
of
happened.
course.
And so and it just compiled and compiled and compiled. And during that time, even when it really began to weigh and hit me,
Mm-hmm.
I still had that smile and people, how you doing? Okay, I'm good. I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. Oh, hey. But on the left of me was BR and on the right of
Oh, I
me was
love it.
KEN.
Yes.
I was
Broken.
broken.
Wow.
I was broken on the inside.
Yes.
I would come home and I would cry.
Yes.
And I would just cry. I was broken. But when I was out, I was
Okay.
okay. I had that smile.
Mm-hmm.
You would never know anything
Of
was wrong with
course.
me.
Of course. Ah.
And I thought I was no, and then I began after a while to begin, I was not useful. As
Mm.
time began to go on, I began to feel as though I was not useful,
Yes.
that I was no good.
Wow.
Who could use me? Not even God can use me
No.
because I'm so broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's where I like another part here that I wrote and that it came to me. And the words that he spoke to me was, and it's in the
Yes.
book, broken but not unrepairable,
Mm-hmm.
broken but still loved, broken but still usable,
Mm-hmm.
broken but still
Highly
highly
favored.
favored. So that let me know. And it says, broken is a temporary state that lends itself to an elevated state of wholeness.
Wow. That's
So
powerful.
I was just in a temporary state
Mm-hmm.
that was he was preparing me to be whole,
Exactly.
better than I was before.
And let me tell you, everybody needs to hear that again because anybody out there that's dealing with anything today, broken is a temporary state. That's key right there. It's a temporary state because anytime I know, even when I went through my breakup or anything I've gone through, you can't tell us that thing is not going to last forever. We feel like we're
Right?
the only ones, and we
Yes.
really feel like we're the only ones going through it, and we know we're not. But that's just how you feel because it's talking. We're thinking of self only, of course, and just somebody needs to still hear today is temporary, and it's doing the work to get to that place because
Yes.
it takes work trying to get there, and that is profound. And I love another part I love that you wrote in here. You said there is no shame in being broken or feeling broken. There are times when God has to break us to get the best out of us. Obviously, what he did for you to get this book and to do the other parts that we are now about to go into, I think it takes a
Right.
special kind of person who truly can understand another person to know how their heart feels. You know, some I know there are other people out there can help people know how to come out of situations and tell them how to come out of it still, but still that lesson of feeling that and knowing what that person you're helping to come through it
Empathetic and
is
sympathetic.
very sympathetic. It's something, and some people don't have that. I don't think some people know how to sympathize with others, in which your book led you into doing another profession and you became a certified life coach. So tell me, how long after writing the book that you decided then to turn that into another business of becoming a certified life coach? Or
Um,
was it from the book
it
now, or is it from your
probably
life or from the experiences and everything you that came into saying, okay, I want to help others?
it didn't come from the book because I was still helping
Yes.
others. Well, no, I won't say it didn't. It partially came from the book because from the book I had a
Yes.
conference,
Okay.
and then from the conference, I that just kind of piqued where I want to do more because during this conference, I had services that were offered
Uh-huh.
free, and I was trying to um, work with the totality of a person where I had persons who prayer warriors who spoke to and prayed individually with people. So that was the spiritual aspect. I had life coaches who worked with them. So that was the mental
Mm-hmm.
aspect. I had massage therapists. That was the physical
Wonderful.
aspect. And all those services were free. And then we also had the speakers. And then, of course, I had retail therapy.
Wonderful. We all love retail therapy, don't we?
Okay.
I love the fact how you put all of it together.
So I wanted to hit all aspects of the
Yes,
person.
yes.
And I just felt that need. And then after some of the surveys, because I did, a survey, and the people were like, yes, yes, I need this. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
this is that, and what they were needing. I was like, oh, okay. And it left me wanting to do a little
Okay.
more.
Yes, and
Hmm.
dealing with the
Right.
totality of a person, even adding the retail therapy in there. So,
Oh, and I forgot comedian, because laughter is
laugh.
good for the soul. So we had a
And
comedian
you had a
as
comedian there.
well. Yes,
Okay.
yes. And and then I also had stepped down from being a leader at one of the organizations
Hmm.
at church that worked with
Yes.
the homeless, because life just kind of got hectic, and I was still volunteer, but it wasn't at the capacity that I was. So I didn't not try, but it just wasn't at the
Yes.
capacity. And I began to miss it. And I want to do more, and I want to help the people. And I still thought about what they were saying in regards to the
Hmm.
conference. And I was like, Lord, I just felt that need to
Hmm.
help and wanting to do more with people. And people were saying more. And then at the same time, I noticed how people would come up to me and began just
Yes.
talking to me and telling me their, you know,
Concern.
concerns or
Yeah.
problems and so forth. Because I remember being at Panera Bread, this lady shut down her register and told the people in line, go to that register over there. And she began just talking to me about everything,
Wow.
just her problems and so forth. And I was like, okay,
Okay. You
all
don't
right,
need to be hit in the
okay,
head to
Lord.
tell you that. Obviously,
Yes,
this is what you're leading me to do
right,
also,
right.
God.
Yes, yes. Because my friend's like, people just keep talking to you. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know.
So, okay, with all of that happening and different things like that, did you had no idea that you still wanted to do it's almost like it had to hit you in the head to say, yes, this is what I'm calling you also to do because you have a gift
Yes.
at this. And yeah, and but that sometimes it happened to all of us, I think. So you took some became certified then as a life coach.
I became fully certified in
Okay.
2020.
So you became a certified life coach, and now were you helping men and women? Tell me a little bit about
Yes.
the type of work you're offering as a life coach.
Yes, I am an executive
Hmm.
life coach, and I help you to gain mental clarity through stress management and help you to help you with goal setting, goal attainment for increased productivity, and helping you find joy in everyday life. Right, that mental clarity. Because when you set
Yes.
those goals and achieve them, don't you find
Joy.
that you have that joy, that
Yes.
satisfaction? It's the type of satisfaction when you achieve
Exactly.
it. So yes, and I'm not limited to that. I also work with helping with other goals as well as life. But particularly I do the stress too, because I
Yes.
find that that's one of the biggest things that
Yes.
comes
Of course.
that that's a trouble spot
It is a
in
trouble
life,
spot.
work or
Hmm.
personal. And I'm not limited to just executives, but being a white collar worker
Hmm.
as well. And what stress on my job, even though I am an
Yes.
educator, and you would think, I know some people with teaching, they think it's
No,
just
it's not.
teaching. It's like teaching is much different.
It
There's a lot
is.
more paperwork and
It
different
is.
things. And And then I've worked in other capacities as well, where I was a receptionist. I was also a
Uh-huh.
secretary, and so I know about those things
Uh-huh.
as well. Other leadership positions that I was in, so I understand the stress that can come
Exactly.
under that and the pressure that can come with
Exactly.
that.
From everything, even the teachers, and like I said, I'm not in the educational field, but I understand, and I feel as a parent who had a daughter in school at one point, I've always felt like it was so much on educators. It's like now it just seems like they keep piling so much more on teachers, and
Yes.
and I hope every parent out there. I used to always ask my daughter's teachers when we would go to parent teacher meeting conferences and meeting them for the first day. It's like, what can I do to help make your job easier? Because I know as everything to me should happen at home. I take my hat off, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of parents out there in 2020 has a, if they never thought of it, has a whole new respect for teachers.
Well, thank you
Oh
on
yes.
behalf of teachers for one asking how can I support you? And I did the
Yes.
same. I'm a teacher. When I would go to my son's conferences and everything,
Hmm.
even in high school. I still went
Exactly.
to those conferences, even in high school. I know, some people are like, oh, he's big
No,
now, he's grown. No, he's not.
thank you.
He's not, he's 15. He doesn't pay one bill. He doesn't pay, he doesn't have a house. He can't get a loan. He
Thank
can't get
you. So he is not too
nothing.
big for me to come to
He's
his.
still
Thank you.
right,
I went to my daughter's senior
right.
year doing the same thing.
A senior year, and let me tell you, as long as I pay for this
I do it
college,
again.
I do it
Exactly.
there too.
So with like you said, with the type of work you offer and the stress, I think everybody can understand that because with anxiety out there and all of that as to it's
Yes.
stress. That's and it's holding on to so much. I don't know why, some people may not even consider sometimes getting that life coach to help, work through the different things in their lives and even working through, I'm sure, trying to balance all of it, like I've heard you say before, and trying to balance life and work and even if they're building businesses or relationships. I can see how it's critical even for myself to this day. So what do you love most about coaching?
I love when people find that
Yes.
aha moment because I am your
Yes.
accountability partner. And so I partner with you. And and you can read
Yes.
from my book. I know all you can't give me any excuse. You don't know
Exactly.
how it is. Did you read my book? And look, book number 2 is coming out. So
You
you
can't
really can't tell me that I
exactly.
don't know. So I partner with you. You can't tell me I don't know or sympathize or
Yes.
empathize with you.
Yes.
I do. Partner with you. I can gently and lovingly
Of course.
guide
Of
you
course.
and guide you to your
Hmm.
aha moment. And I love it when clients come to
A
that
moment.
aha moment. They like, oh
Exactly.
yes. And I love that self when they have that
Yes.
self-discovery and that aha moment. It makes it so much more meaningful, I think,
Yeah,
for
of
them and
course.
for me.
Of
I
course.
love it.
It's so rewarding on so many levels. And maybe because we've had our own aha
Yes.
moments and to just know where we were. Because I used to always tell people, don't compare my chapter 20 with your chapter one. Finding joy in everyday life, you did the work even over the years. What other kind of self help books have you read, if any, or you found that's your favorite? Where do you get your
Oh, I like
inspiration
all
from? I'll
kinds of
say.
music. Oh, I get my inspiration from everything. I really do. It's not a pinpoint.
Yes.
Music is one of the things for inspiration for
Mm-hmm.
when I'm writing, even with my poetry. And I can't um it's not even a
Mm-hmm.
specific genre. It could be country
Uh-huh.
this day, it could be neo
Uh-huh.
soul the next day, it could be classical, jazz. So and then it could be it just could be
Yeah.
I could get it from anywhere or
Of course.
anything if it just kind of hit.
Mm-hmm. If everybody will remember, you're a creative person. So I can see you going from country to neo soul type, or the poetry, and all those different things like that, that gives you inspiration to finding your joy in everyday life and helping others do the same. Tell me, with the conference, is that conference coming back up?
No, yes, the conference is coming back up. I didn't want to skip years, but 2019 it was some health
Yeah.
and so issues, and so I did not get to do it as I wanted to. And then of course 2020, and so
Yes.
2021, what I am planning is virtual. And so I'm looking to have that in June of 2021. I am planning for June of 2021. So it is in the works. It is being planned for
Okay.
2021. So trying to pull that off with something virtual for the people.
It takes a lot to do a virtual, the way you've done your last conference, like you said, trying to help the whole person.
Yes, the whole person. We try to feed the whole person, the mental, the physical, the
Yes.
spiritual, let's say physical, mental,
Hmm.
spiritual,
Yes.
physical. So all of that we try to do, and I still want to do the same thing, even being virtual. So I'm working on that as well to still
Exactly.
do the same thing to have. And I've
Yes.
talked to some people and these services are
Wonderful.
volunteer trained, certified
Yes.
professionals who are doing that, who are volunteering their services
Yes.
to give back to persons and doing one-on-one where they normally get paid 100 plus, 200 plus,
Yes.
300 an hour. They are giving these services for free to persons.
I've heard seriously how wonderful of a event it was. I want everybody to know you can get that same level of experience and that same level of expertise from her coaching business as well. And she's going to deal with the
Yes,
total person. If you ever consider, if you need a life coach, if you're looking for someone, go to her
yes.
her website. We'll give you all of that information in a second to book her for that. And if you need someone who's also, and I'm going to say all of this in the end, looking to speak and do poetry and the different things like that, consider the real Latressa. And again, when I tell you this book has so many chapters in it. Like she said, and a chapter two is coming. I mean, a book number two is coming. It's based off of life experiences. And so she has done the work, and also to bring healing to others who is dealing with stress in life, like she has dealt with in some capacities of her life. So, okay, I want to talk about some of the other things that you're involved with. I've read where you on your website, you contributed to a book that talks about, oh, how we love our sons. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Is it out already or is it coming?
That book is out. It is a collaboration, is
Hmm.
an anthology put together by my cousin
Oh,
and
wonderful.
Sarah, Dr.
Hmm.
Sonia Leverett, and it's to uplift Black boys, mothers
Hmm.
with Black sons, and their letters and stories about these women and their sons, and how much we love them. Just what's happening now. You
Yes.
see the
Yes.
news. It's
Yes.
heartbreaking. Me having a Black son, I haven't expressed it. I have expressed it a couple times, but I haven't expressed it to the extent because it really
Yes.
breaks my heart, and
Yes.
I'm really nervous when my son goes out. I
Of
just to be
course.
truthful, I'm nervous every time my son drives to the store. I just pray. I
Of
look out the
course.
window. I can't tell you how many times, and I pace, and then every time before he goes, we have this conversation. This is what you do if you encounter this, if you encounter that. Just do that, and I hate that
Of
we even
course.
have to have a conversation each time like that, and even to the point where I'm discussing, I was looking at getting a camera
I
for the
understand
car so it can
everything.
record, you know,
Yes.
everything. So I was looking at getting a camera for the car so it could record everything. So this is just something to
Mm-hmm.
uplift
Yeah.
Black males, and it's
Yes.
very heartfelt. It is out. You can order it off of my website from
Oh,
me, and I'll
wonderful.
autograph it
Okay.
and send it and
And since
send
you
you a
mentioned it, tell us
copy.
the name of your website.
The website is thereallatressa.me. Not .com, not .org, but .me. Thereallatressa.me.
Reallatressa.me. And everyone, we're going to mention it again at the end. And I'm going to have all of her information in the show notes and how to get the books and everything she's speaking about. And I'll tell you, we may need to have you and your cousin back on to talk about that because that is a subject that I think is worth talking about. The path I know it gears towards talking to women, but you have a heart for men, and talking to men or working with men.
Yes,
I think we've once said
yes.
before. How did that come about? Because of a son,
Yes.
having a son?
I think it even came before then. It just
Yes.
seemed to be, that's just like, I have to say, that's a
Yeah.
God thing, because even before I had my son, one
Uh
my
huh.
younger years, when I first, right, right before I graduated, my last little years of college, I always wanted and said I wanted my own charter school,
Yes.
and I wanted an all
Really?
boys
Uh huh.
school. I wanted an
Yes.
all boys school. And so yes, and it just seemed that God, just even with in my field of education, I always had the
Really?
boys. I had a few times, like one time I had 17 boys and 5 girls. Right. So I always had way
Yeah.
more boys than girls. And it always ended
That
up
is
like that.
wonderful.
I think this last year, I think I had more of a little balance. It was
Yes.
more of a little balance. But then before, like I think 13
Hmm.
boys and maybe 10 girls. So that's more of a
Exactly.
balance I've ever had. But it's always been way more boys.
It don't take only men. Boys and men need to hear from women and females as well as we do need to hear from men and women as well too. So I applaud you for
Yes.
having that heart, to want to be that one that deals with the men and women as well. Because I always tell people, maybe one day I may have the path will go into the men. I have two accountability partners that are men, and I even told them, I said, I'm think I might take that little break because I have to have them on because they are my partners, and I may have to invite them in and speak to the path listeners, and I'm hoping that the path helps men who listen as well so they can also understand how to deal with their significant others, what women go through. They may not,
Mhm.
their mothers and daughters and wives may not talk to them about certain things, but maybe hearing it from the female perspective on certain things. So I
Yeah.
hope that happens. But that's a wonderful, wonderful thing to have that love and want to work with men in a lot of ways as well as women, we know with you. So that's a wonderful thing. Now let me ask you this: what would you, with all your experiences, written a book, still writing, and being a life coach, what would you tell the younger Latressa today?
Oh, I
Yes.
pondered that question. And for certain instances, I would tell my younger self to say yes.
Exactly, I love that.
To say
To say
to
yes.
say yes. There were some instances where I said no, and even no, some things no to God. People say, "You don't tell God." No, I did. I did. No, you don't mean me, God. You meant somebody else.
That wasn't for me.
That wasn't
Yes.
for me.
Yeah.
Come back, Lord. You got the signals crossed. Let me get up from this prayer because I'm not hearing right. This
He's
ain't
sitting there
it.
like, okay, just shaking his head, like, okay, here goes my daughter.
This, this, okay. See, this why you going through all these trials now. Okay,
You
you
will
gonna see.
see.
You gonna
You will
learn
learn
today.
today.
You go not today. You gonna learn in the
Yes.
next couple of
Yes.
weeks/months. But you gonna learn.
And that's a wonderful feeling to know
Yeah.
now in the place you are now to know your yes is going to be whenever you hear it. Yes, yes, whatever that yes is, I'll do it. So good. I'm glad. That's wonderful. I
Yeah.
love it. Now tell me a takeaway that you would really want the audience to know, or is there any takeaways that you would want them to know today?
Uh, yes, that's. I would love to partner with you as
Mhm.
a life coach, and that um my book is to awaken your subconscious. And even if you
Mm.
don't find or you don't buy my book, even if you don't hire me as a coach, if you get partnered with someone else, because mental health is
Mhm.
so important and it has become a
Exactly.
stigma, in particularly in our Black community. And
Yes.
because our counterparts, our whites, our Caucasians, they'll
Mhm.
tell you in a minute, hey, I'm going my lunch break to see my therapist, my life coach. I'll be back in an
Yes.
hour. And it's nothing to it.
Exactly.
So mental health is so important.
Mhm.
Partner with
Mhm.
a coach, a life coach, even if it's not with me, but partner with someone. Mental health is important. And find the joy in everyday life. I know it may be difficult, but take a moment, breathe,
Yes.
step back, close your eyes, breathe, and
Mhm.
find that little joy. No matter how small it is, find it, hold it,
Yes.
hold on to it,
Yes.
affirm to it, and make it bigger. And it will
Wonderful.
overpower you.
I love it. And with all of that you said just now, tell us, how can someone connect with you again, and give us your website again, your social media. How can they connect with you to work with you?
Yes, you can connect with me and partner with me on my website, thereallatressa.me. I do have certain hours, but I am willing to work because I do have international clients. So
Mhm.
I am
Good.
flexible with that. So with my time with that, we can, you know,
Mhm.
communicate and maybe come up with a time. Just want to let you know, if you see a time on there, then I'm willing to work with that because, as I stated, I have international clients. So I do work on some Saturdays and other times.
Okay. So you're global.
Yes. So yes, thereallatressa.me. You can
Mhm.
connect with me there, as I stated, to book an appointment, to order my books. You can also order my book on Amazon.com as well. You can connect with me on social media with The Real Latressa, Latressa, and that's with Instagram. That's also with Twitter. And
Mhm.
for Facebook, it's Latressa A. Crawford Enterprises, because my business is Latressa A. Crawford Enterprises, because I also do consulting as well. I also have a upcoming stress management course that will
Mhm.
be coming up.
Oh, wonderful. And that's under the consulting side
Yes.
of that? Okay. And all of that still can be found on the website.
All of that can still be found on the website. That's
Oh,
why it's
wonderful.
enterprises. You can
That's why it's enterprises, because
enterprise.
she's doing it all, everyone. She's doing it all.
Everything. You'll still see some of my crafts. Now I have the Finding Joy in Everyday Life bling shirts because I like bling.
Okay. You
So I
like
have the
bling?
bling, and then for the males, they just the plain, just the
Okay. So
plain,
men, they got it for men too. Okay.
right? For men as well. And then also I do, as I said, I am a crafter as well.
Yes.
So I have a side that's called Created Dope,
Okay.
and there you will find where I do cups, I do coasters,
Mhm.
I do shirts, Um, I do a little bit of
You do a
everything
little bit
on
of
this one.
everything. So we're
Yeah.
gonna we'll have some pictures and different things like that to show once this airs, and make sure everyone real see how they can reach out to you to grab some of that. I know I've seen one of the mugs that she's working on, which is some parts of your book, right? Is some of the
Right, pages from my
pieces out of your
book,
book.
and it has the Finding Joy, the title on there, and then this one that I'm creating actually has wink wink on it,
It
so
does.
it has excerpts from the pages from Wink Wink on there,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
a couple of other ones. What shall I do? So this one has Wink
Oh.
Wink. What shall? There's another excerpt called What shall I do?
Hmm.
And it's on there as well.
I
So
love it. Oh, that's the one I'm waiting on, everybody. I just want you to know. So as soon as that come available, Latressa, please forward it to me. I don't, even if this is aired, it will be, I will purchase it and I will post it to show everyone how beautiful it is, because I've seen a mock up of it, and it's going to be gorgeous. And why not have that affirmation sitting right there on your desk or in front of you, just as a reminder of, wink wink,
that's
and all
exactly
the
what
other
it
different
is. That's
is
exactly that's what I meant. Inspiration just that's why I
yes,
say it's not even just one thing that gives me the inspiration. Just
yes, it's a number of things, and you find
I
it
try to find it in every
everything.
day.
Everybody, I need you to hear that again. She just did not write a book of inserts just to write and just to, so for people to purchase to make money. She lives this, and it's truly, even me doing the this recording with you, it shows me again how it all comes back to everything you're doing. You finding that joy in everything. That's why with the t-shirts, helping people, I'll say people first, the t-shirts, the mugs, because when everybody look at something, you want them to have that joy, to find that joy,
Yes.
even if it's for that moment. It may help them then to get past. Like I would tell some people in some of the classes I do, if you didn't cry 5 times today and you only cried once, that's a win.
That's
So if your books or your t-shirts help them and they're feeling good for that moment, that's a win. That's a blessing, and you one step closer to maybe not crying tomorrow. Um, Let me ask you, do you have anything else? Did we capture everything else? Because the t-shirts, the mugs, we know you got the businesses, the consulting, the life coaching. Did we get everything about the real Latressa?
I think you have gotten everything. Please connect with me as
Yes.
stated. Please go to my Facebook page, Latressa A. Crawford Enterprises. Connect with me there on my social media, The Real Latressa, Instagram and Twitter. And my website, which it will be, and I have an email list that will be coming up soon, which you can sign up for, where you will be able to receive updates on that.
Wonderful.
But the real Latressa.me,
Yes.
and I will have on there any upcoming events, such as this
As
podcast.
such as this podcast. Yes. Because you have really blessed us today.
Mm.
And we know you're going to continue blessing so many people with that beautiful smile that you have. Everyone, I want to just say this because Latressa mentioned it. In the back of her book, she wrote that her book today is intended to uplift and awaken your subconscious into finding joy, the lesson and or development in every situation that God chooses you to encounter. Wow, I love that. And as you heard today, that is exactly what her whole business and her whole saying yes to is made up in everyone finding that joy in everyday life. If you are looking for a certified life coach, a poet, or a public speaker, don't hesitate to visit her website and book her today. Again, I will list all of that information. Her book has received 5-star reader's favorite award. So make it a part of your daily reading. Thank you, Latressa, again for helping me and my audience experience in just that today, finding joy in everyday life. We have to be intentional about seeking joy. And we know that we will find that after today. Put yourself at the top of your list so you can pour from your overflow and take care of your kids, your spouses, and your families, everyone. Until next time, everyone. Latressa, thank you
Thank
again.
you. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it, and thank you for blessing me.
Thank you. Until next time, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for hanging with us. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and other platforms so you can stay up on our bi-weekly real conversations with these bold women. You can follow the Path Podcast on Facebook at the Path Podcast and on Instagram and Twitter at the Path_podcast. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or have questions for a future show, you can email us at thepath4ward @gmail.com. That's thepathforward@gmail.com. And if you're looking for a speaker or you're in need of a life coach, please reach out to me again at thepathforward@gmail.com or at ACKORLEH@gmail.com. Thank you. Until next time.